Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So Camille Vasquez and Johnny Depp will be reteaming. Yes. This is for another lawsuit. I would say this one is less interesting, undoubtedly. Far more frivolous. And there's already information being dropped surrounding this, which makes it seem very, very much like nonsense. So I thought we would take a look at it. But the interesting thing here is, well, one, the lawsuit, which we'll go into because there's people debunking it straight from the off anyway. And then there's also the fact that Camille Vasquez, this is her first job as partner at the law firm that she was promoted to within. And it's straight back with Johnny Depp, which I think is great. It's good. You know, this is something we learned in the trial anyway, is that individuals like to work with Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp likes to work with individuals. You know, you do good, Johnny Depp will keep you on. And, you know, well, people just generally like Johnny Depp, it seems. So this is, again, a testament of what we had already seen historically in the trial, with witnesses coming forward from years or whatever, and just anecdotal discussions. It's just fascinating stuff, really. It just adds more layers to debunk Amber Turd's nonsense. So let's take a look at this. Again, I find this to be something we'll sort of dive into. I doubt there will be much in the way of sort of, videos and discussion pieces on this. I can't imagine it's going to go on that long. But Camille Vasquez will be defending Johnny Depp once again over allegations he assaulted a film crew member. Now, actually, again, you saw this, just a brief second of, we'll dive into that, because actually it looks like he defended someone as per a sworn testimony, anyway, sworn statement. But Camille Vasquez, the surprise star of the legal team that successfully argued the defamation case against Amber Heard for Johnny Depp, will once again represent the actor in court. So, alongside fellow Brown Rudnick partner Randall Smith. So this will be interesting if we hear about any of this stuff. It's a completely different team now. Obviously, it's Vasquez and her own legal firm that she's now a partner of. So Randall Smith and Miss Vasquez will be defending Mr. Depp in a personal injury lawsuit. This has been filed against him by Greg Rocky Brooks. And that's location manager on the movie of City of Lies. This is something which they referenced in the court, in the trial of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. And it's that Mr. Brooks alleges that Mr. Depp maliciously and forcefully punched him twice in the ribs before saying he would pay him 100 grand to punch him back in the face. Which it's already been debunked, which we'll get to in a minute, because it's a very interesting witness testimony, because it actually indicates that he was helping a homeless black woman from racial slurs from Mr. Brooks. So that'll be interesting. But the incident took place in April 2017, and Mr. Brooks says the actor's actions were intentional and malicious, and intended to cause him to suffer humiliation. Which we'll get to that in a minute, because it does sound like projection here. It's also alleged that Mr. Depp's intoxication and temper created a hostile, abusive and unsafe working environment. Now, it continues further and says Mr. Brooks claims he was fired from the movie because he would not sign a release waiving his right to sue over the incident. And according to legal documents, Mr. Depp's attorneys do not admit that the actor or his co-defendants hit Brooks, but argue that his injuries were due to self-defense and defense of others, and that Mr. Brooks himself provoked the actions that resulted in his own injuries. The trial is set to begin on 25th of July in the LA County Superior Court, with Judge Holly Fuji presiding. I believe that's how it was. Now, again, all of this nonsense from The Independent is just a testament, once again, at how flawed this kind of media is, mainstream media. These people are idiots. If I could already find a witness testimony, why couldn't they? Why couldn't they include that and give some more information to it? Why couldn't they? You notice how one-sided this all is, and it is one-sided. It's very much, hey, this is the alleged, oh, it's bad, oh, yeah, they deny that. That's basically it. Like, it's very much one-sided. So do you want to see what the witness testimony is? Because I'm sure you do. And you'd think the independent and normal mainstream media would probably show stuff like that, but they don't, because they're idiots, and they're dying, and they're crap, and they're smear merchants. And you should subscribe here instead, because at least you'll get most of the facts, not as much as I can find, but apparently it's more than mainstream media. So here you have it, right? This is a declaration of Emma Danoff, who was a script supervisor working on City of Lies, right? So let's just read through this, because it is interesting stuff, and it completely... Well, one, it shows mainstream media to be utter nonsense douchebags, and they really should, show a little bit more of the information at play, or they're just terrible journalists, one of the two. But it also just fleshes out the story for others, and actually is a very interesting tale. So, I, Emma Danoff, declare as follows. I'm an individual over the age of 18, and I'm resident of the city of blank. State of California. I've first-hand personal knowledge of the matters set forth herein, and if called upon as a witness, would and could competently testify thereto. I worked on the film City of Lies, then titled LA Labyrinth. My job title was script supervisor. My function as script supervisor includes photographing and monitoring every detail of on-set filming, closely following every detail for verbal and visual consistency and continuity. At 7 p.m. So, just taken lots of photos. At 7 p.m. on April 12, 2017, I photographed John C. Depp II, Mr. Depp, meeting with homeless individuals who were on the street where the City of Lies filming was taking place. This photograph, or the photograph, because obviously they're referencing one, shows Mr. Depp speaking with a small group of homeless individuals. He gave them money and gifts, which we've heard plenty of testimony that this is just how he is, this is what he does. We moved outside and were to begin filming our exterior scene at 10:55 p.m. So, like nearly 4 hours have passed. At precisely 11:08 p.m. on the evening of April 12th, per the time clock on the photograph, so pretty well documented, Mr. Depp was sitting a few inches away from me on a bench looking together at the monitor. His breath did not smell of alcohol, and he was not inebriated or under any influence that I could observe or had observed during a long day at work. Mr. Depp had already been working all day on the film. This was a special day on the set, as Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls' mother, Violetta Wallace, and Russell Paul's widow and family were visiting the set to watch filming. At that moment, the film's location scout, Rocky Brooks, encountered an African-American homeless woman about 25 feet from where I was sitting with Mr. Depp. Mr. Brooks loudly and aggressively berated the woman with racial and derogatory slurs for being in his presence and in his way, and he was pissed she was unable to follow his commands. Do you see where the humiliation aspect comes in? Because he's doing this, he's berating someone, so big ego, right? Massive ego. This is pretty shocking behaviour from anyone. This is disgusting. But this is what he does. I heard most of Mr. Brooks's unkind words to her. And then this happened. So Mr. Depp also heard it, and he immediately stood up from our shared seat on the edge of a planter bench and went over to Brooks to stand up for the woman. Do you see the humiliation aspect now coming in? This guy giving it the big I am, I'm this, I'm that, I've got the ego, don't come near me, you N-word, whatever, I'm sure. And then someone puts him in his place and goes, what the hell are you doing? You see? So, Mr. Depp said to Mr. Brooks, you can't talk to her like that. You think she is something less than you. Who do you think you are? How dare you? Johnny exchanged words with Mr. Brooks in this manner for approximately 20 seconds, as confirmed by photographs. And then he came and sat back down at 11:09 p.m. as confirmed by the time-stamped photograph. There were no punches or shoves. There was no offer of $100,000 to punch Mr. Depp. They were close to each other, but Mr. Depp never touched Mr. Brooks, and I remained 10 feet away from the incident during its short duration. And as if that wasn't enough, I have 40 time-stamped photographs of the entire incident. See what I mean? Quite frivolous nonsense of a trial. Later, after filming wrapped at 11:31 AM, April 13th, 2017, inside the Berkeley Hotel, per a time-stamped photograph, I was in the hallway doing post-shoot paperwork. Mr. Depp went up. Mr. Depp went up to, and Mr. Brooks appeared about 5 feet from me and hugged. Mr. Depp said no hard feelings. After Mr. Brooks said what he said was, in the heat of the moment, so quotations, then they both departed. And I declare, under penalty of perjury, under the laws of the United States of America and the state of California, that the foregoing is true and correct. The thing is, this is one in a long list of anecdotal, circumstantial sort of evidence from individuals that this is just how Mr. Depp is. So I'm very much inclined to believe this over someone going, I was humiliated and someone shoved me and threatened to punch me and punched me and then offered for me to punch them. You sound like a dipshit. Terrible that I could find all of that, and mainstream media can't though. So do hit subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way. But also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we, of course, have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box, along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.